My name is Margaret. I'm 80 years old. Recording this because there's something I've been carrying for a very long time and I think I finally understand it now. Not in the way you understand a lesson someone teaches you, in the way you understand something when it's already over. I don't know if anyone will listen to this. Maybe that's not the point, but I need to say it out loud. When I was 17, my mother used to sit at the kitchen table after dinner and stare out the window, not at anything in particular, just out. I thought she was tired or bored. Or maybe she regretted having me so young. I never asked. She would fold the dish towel in her lap, smooth it out with her hands, and then fold it again, over and over. Like she was trying to make something perfect that didn't need to be. I was young, I had places to be, friends waiting, a life that felt urgent in a way hers didn't seem to be anymore. So I'd leave her there. Sometimes she'd say my name as I was walking out the door. Margaret, not a question, not a command, just my name. And I'd turn around, one hand already on the doorknob, and she'd look at me like she was about to say something. But she never did, she'd just nod, and I'd leave. I got married when I was 22. His name was Robert. He was kind, steady, the sort of man people called dependable, which I didn't realize then was a compliment. We had 2 daughters, Emily and Claire. I loved them the way you're supposed to love your children, fiercely, completely, but I was always moving, always doing. Always one step ahead of the mess, the noise, the needs. I thought that's what being a good mother meant. My mother came to visit once when Emily was about 4. She sat in the same spot at my kitchen table that she used to sit at in hers, and she did the same thing, stared out the window, folded a dish towel in her lap. I remember standing at the counter, washing bottles, and feeling this flash of irritation. Like, why are you just sitting there? Emily was pulling on my leg, asking for something. Claire was crying in the other room, and my mother just sat there. I didn't say anything, but I thought it. Asterisk, you could help. She died when I was 31, a stroke, quick. They said she didn't suffer. I don't know if that's true, but I wanted to believe it. At the funeral, someone I didn't recognize came up to me and said, "Your mother talked about you all the time. She was so proud." I thanked them, but I didn't really believe it. Because if she was proud, why didn't she ever say it? If she loved me, why did she always seem so far away? The years went by the way they do. Emily and Claire grew up, they had lives. Boyfriends, then husbands, then children of their own. I stayed busy, I volunteered, I took care of Robert. I kept the house the way I thought it should be kept. But somewhere in my 50s, something started to shift. I'd be standing at the sink washing dishes and I'd catch myself staring out the window, not at anything, just out. And I'd feel this strange heaviness, like I was waiting for something I couldn't name. Robert died 6 years ago, heart attack, also quick. The house got quieter after that. Emily lives 3 states away. Claire calls every Sunday, but the conversations are short, surface level. She asks how I'm doing. I say I'm fine. She tells me about the kids. I listen. And then we hang up. I started noticing things I hadn't noticed before, like how much time I spent folding things, towels, blankets, clothes that were already clean. How I'd sit at the kitchen table in the late afternoon when the light came through the window in that particular way, and I'd just sit. I didn't plan to. I'd get up to do something and then I'd find myself there, staring, folding. One day, about a year ago, Emily came to visit. She brought her youngest daughter, Sarah. She's 7. Sarah has this way of moving through the world like everything is interesting. She'll stop in the middle of the sidewalk to look at a leaf, or a crack in the pavement, or nothing at all. We were in the kitchen, I was making tea, Emily was on her phone, and Sarah was sitting at the table very still, looking out the window. I watched her for a minute. Then I said, "What are you looking at, sweetheart?" She didn't turn around, she just said very quietly, "I don't know, just things." Emily glanced up. "Sarah, don't be weird." But I felt something crack open in my chest because I knew exactly what she meant. After they left, I sat in that same chair, and I thought about my mother. I thought about all those times she said my name and I didn't stay. All those times she sat at the table and I assumed she had nothing to say. And for the first time, I wondered if maybe she did. Maybe she had so much to say that she didn't know where to start. Maybe she was waiting for me to sit down, to stop moving, to ask. But I never did. I started going through old boxes a few months ago. I don't know why, maybe because I'm 80 now and I know what that means. I found a stack of letters my mother had written, not to me, to herself, I think. They weren't dated, just thoughts, fragments. One of them said, I watch her leave and I want to call her back, but I don't know what I'd say. I don't want to be a burden. I don't want her to feel trapped the way I did, so I let her go. Every time I read that line over and over, I let her go, I thought about all the times I left the room when my daughters were talking, not because I didn't care, but because I thought they didn't need me there. I thought about all the times I didn't say what I was really feeling because I didn't want to make them uncomfortable. Or because I thought they were too busy, or because I convinced myself it didn't matter. I thought about my mother sitting at that table, and I realized she wasn't absent. She was waiting, she was hoping I'd sit down, she was giving me space to leave because she thought that's what love looked like, and I did the same thing. I called Claire last week. She answered the way she always does. "Hi Mom, how are you?" And instead of saying fine, I said, "I miss you." There was a pause. Then she said very quietly, "I miss you too." We talked for an hour, not about schedules or weather or the kids, about things that mattered, things I should have said years ago. I don't know if my mother ever got to say what she wanted to say. I don't know if she died wishing I'd asked. But I understand now what she meant when she said my name. She wasn't trying to stop me, she was trying to reach me, and I didn't know how to reach back. I'm 80 years old. I sit at the kitchen table now and I stare out the window. Not because I have nothing to do, but because I finally understand what it feels like to have so much inside you that you don't know how to let it out. To love someone so much that you're afraid your need will push them away. So you stay quiet, you fold your towels, you wait. If you're listening to this and there's someone in your life who sits quietly, who says your name and then stops, who stares out windows, maybe sit with them. Not because they'll say something profound, but because they might just need to know you're there. That's all my mother wanted, and I wish I'd understood that sooner. Thank you for listening. If this meant something to you, I'd be grateful to know I'm not alone in this. But even if you just stayed until the end, that's enough.